Welcome back. My name is Julio. I got my co-host here, Luis.
Yes, sir.
Today we got a special finance episode. We got Walter Avalos. And Walter, you work at Northern Trust in Chicago.
Yeah, man. I'm in Chicago right now.
He's also from Carthage. To me, I think he's a big name. He's one of the guys that I really looked up to whenever I was a little kid. Because you used to play soccer for the high school, and I always used to look up to you guys. I'm like, man, that guy's fucking good. Like that's how good I want to be.
I appreciate that, man. I really
No?
do. And honestly, thank you guys for letting me join here too.
Dude.
I see the work you guys are putting in. I'm like, I definitely want to be part of that.
Man,
Yeah.
the freaking pleasure is freaking ours. You know.
Yeah.
And I think I started hearing, because you're like 4 or 5 years older than us, so I didn't get to grow up with you or anything, see a whole lot of you. I remember hearing a lot about you playing soccer and everything, and I'd go to the soccer games and watch you guys play and everything.
Yeah.
Like we said, look up to you guys.
I mean, that's freaking all we like as a little kid. Soccer this, soccer that.
Yeah.
I mean, we freaking look up to you guys like, man, this guy's a beast. Man, this other guy, man, you guys were like
We take it seriously.
stacked. You guys were stacked.
Yeah.
You guys were hella stacked.
But now you're doing great, man, and I think
yeah.
we were really excited to get you in here just to kind of pick your brain a little bit and kind of learn some more from you, but really pass on this information to others.
Mm-hmm.
So you remind me your title again?
Portfolio manager associate.
Portfolio manager associate.
Yeah.
So you handle people's money. You manage people's money.
It's a portfolio. It's a umbrella of finance that deals with wealth management.
Wealth management. So you were telling us earlier you deal with some big clients, with big portfollios.
Yeah.
What is a day to day look like for you? What is your kind of your day at work look like for you?
A lot of reading, and if you don't have a client meeting that day where you're reviewing how the client has done over the past quarter, you're looking at portfolios or information that's coming in, right? So you gotta be reading a lot of research, and then you gotta apply that research too. So the company will set out, our economists will set out, kind of a view of what the economy is going to look like over the year, over the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And that'll come out like every quarter, and you read that. And then the company will also set out guidelines as to how a portfolio, like what their recommendation for a portfolio would look like. And then you take those recommendations, and as a portfolio manager, you say, all right, I can either agree or disagree with wherever they're recommending. And if I disagree, I better have a good argument as to why, because I'm going to take a risk.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a risk in the portfolio and not invest there and invest somewhere else. So it's a lot of applying information.
Yeah. So would you say that you're kind of like a broker?
No. Because
No.
a broker tries to sell you a product, but we get paid based on a fee that's based on the market value of your portfolio.
Okay.
So if your portfolio increases in size, then I win and you win.
Okay.
Because my fee gets bigger, but also not my fee gets bigger. It stays a fixed percentage, but
your
fee,
client's
the dollar amount
pocket
goes.
gets bigger.
So right.
So is it almost like commission? Would that?
I mean, in a sense, it's commission, but it's more just look at it as, it's 50 basis points, which is 0.5% off a portfolio. Let's just say the portfolio is 100 million. That's what the company makes, and then I get a salary and a bonus on top of that every year.
So how many clients do you have right now? Is it normal for you to have like a smaller set of clients or a bigger set of clients, or does it depend on the dollar amount, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, yeah, both, like they kind of work hand in hand, because you'll have I mean probably $1 billion to $2 billion in assets that you manage, and I don't manage it alone. I manage it with a portfolio manager, and we tackle $1 billion to $2 billion of just client assets, and it just depends on the size of the relationships. We have one family, I was telling you earlier, that each child has 60 million, you know. But what the cool thing about all this is, like, for me, it's obviously a shock to go from Carthage, you know, where we grew up, especially my parents bringing in not a lot every year, but then you go from that to, you know, the stepping stone in St. Louis, where I first got introduced to this, and then you get from the fish in St. Louis, you go to the big pond in Chicago, and it's like, it's eye-opening, because you start to learn all these stories of how everyone made their money, and what you find usually is that if you're not making more than $1 million a year as a CEO of a company, or you can make $1 million a year at plenty of companies, but the people that actually made a lot of wealth are people that took risks and started their own business somewhere down the line. So it's either their grandparents, you know, started. There's one cool story. One of the clients, they're the grandchildren, so they're the third generation now of this wealth that was passed down to them, and their grandparents started the Yellow Pages.
So no way!
All the
those books.
Those books that literally got delivered to your front porch.
Yeah, I remember those.
Damn.
That's what they started, and of course that company started going out of business because everything's done online now. But the amount of money that company was still worth billions of dollars by the time it's sold, and so all these grandchildren now have gotten a piece of that. And imagine having 60 million. You know, like each child, you're never gonna spend that, never, because at 60 million, the market can make you 8-9% every year. You'd be hard. Just multiply that 10% off of 60 million. You can't spend that. You can't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but just me seeing someone from Carthage, Hispanic, you know, like dealing with those kind of money and like the knowledge that you have, like, makes me happy, because I feel like, you know, people like you, we can advance as a whole community together.
Yeah, we all can, man.
You know.
And you have you've been starting doing these helpful like videos, and you mentioned like passing down that information to kind of people who didn't really grow up around it, you know, and through avenues like Instagram and like Snapchat. What is it called?
It's Forbidden Fruit. So on Instagram, the tag is FRBDNFRT. And you can find us under that tag everywhere. But that's a good point, man. The reason why Nick and I started to do this, and if you meet Nick, you guys will love him. Like, he probably puts out the same energy as I do, but multiplied by 10, and he's very passionate about finance. And what's up?
Dude, like, if you can hook us up with him, that would be fucking great.
Yeah,
you know, actually,
I'll bring him down here.
Dude, if you can bring him down here, even freaking better. But dude has to set up this Zoom call type of thing.
Yes, we're gonna do Zoom with you. But we got you in person, which is even better.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Dylan. Like, Dylan's always putting in the work, and I feel like with this Zoom call thing, we can tap in with more people that.
Yeah, that'd be
sweet. Like yourself, like, that's something that. Yeah. You know.
Because then you get like the second degree people that you know, right? Like you can get me, then you can get Nick, and then Nick will introduce you to someone, and then same thing with people that you know maybe went to school somewhere else. Yeah. Everyone can introduce you to someone, and
you can learn, just expand your knowledge.
Yeah, I mean,
But Nick, he's been so Nick and I were thinking about, you know, we're in this every day, and we're like, all right, we're like, this is cool, right? Like, helping families like maintain their wealth. But to be honest, man, you know, like we were talking about earlier, their problems are different. You know, I'd rather focus my help on someone that actually needs it. Yeah. So like, I get a lot of people that ask me like, hey, what do I do here? What do I do there? And I find a lot of value in that. And so Nick and I decided to just start putting information out there, you know, on social media for everyone to grab. Yeah. Because one, man, like, I remember growing up, and I didn't know any better, but like my grandma would keep her money under her mattress. Yeah. And the problem with that is like there's two types of costs. There's the cost that's inflation, that's 2% a year that you're missing out on. That's eating away at your dollars if you're not making.
If you don't have assets as well, right?
Yeah. But then there's other costs, which is opportunity cost, which is the money that you're not making by not investing that money.
Dude, go ahead.
All right, man. You're good.
Go dude, ahead. Yeah, I see that problem here in my own family as well. Like even in my father, like, he doesn't believe in credit cards. He don't believe in debit cards. He's like, man. No, they're gonna just like, they can easily take your money away, and someone can rob you, this and that, and like the old Hispanic people, they don't understand how much you need your credit score to in order to lease a house or lease a brand new car, like a 2021 car. Like they don't understand that. They prefer keeping their cash in hand, putting it in their shoes, putting it underneath their
and you
bed.
know why? Because in their countries they make $7 a week,
dude. Even less than that.
Less than that. I remember one of the first jobs I ever got. Actually, I came home to a surprise. My mom was like, "Hey, you coming home for winter break?" I was like, I was at Mizzou. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there." I thought I was just gonna get to lay around at the house or whatever. I get back and she's got me this job lined up for in construction. And it's in the
got you a job. She got
yo, you trying to make me work for 2 weeks here? All right. So I go to work. It's freezing outside. We're laying down pavement, making sidewalks in Neosho, Missouri. And because we were making sidewalks for Neosho, it was sponsored by the state. So we were making time and a half every hour. And then overtime was time and a half, over that. So I was making $37 an hour. And we hit the 40 hours on Thursday, and I remember I was working with a Salvadorian as a crew, and he just got to the United States, and so the crew chief is like, "All right, you guys trying to work tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm done. I hit my 40 hours. I'm out." And the Salvadorian's like, "Yeah, I'll be here." I'm like, "¿Qué te pasa? What's wrong with you?" He's like, "Look, man, in my country I made $7 a week. So this I'm raking it in." And so you start to understand the psychology behind it, because you're like, oh, that's why you guard your money.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the reason we're one of the hardest workers, or one of the ethnicities that are the hardest worker to get their money, just because of what they, or from where they came from and what they used to live in. Like putting 40 plus hours is nothing to them. It's nothing to them. Their mindset is different from people that are in middle class already, or the people that are in the high class. Their mentality is something different. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And you feed off of it too.
For sure.
You guys feel it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's where we get our competitive fire too.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I growing up and watching my mom hustle and everything. It's definitely translated to me, and I will have that drive now. As I see her, I'm like, I should be working just as hard, if not harder, towards my goals and everything.
Right. Sure.
So storing money, saving money. My mom has money in envelopes and stuff, and and it's really good, to save money. But like you said, you're almost losing money at that. You are. You're almost losing money. So. I got this interest about a year ago to become a day trader. You get I got influenced by make money quick. But it all worked out because I started looking into the stock market. I started learning how to look at charts. Look at indicators and price movement and price ranges, and then I started kind of shifted over from this make money quick to this this long-term investment, this wealth building, kind of some of the tools that the wealthy have been using in order to build their wealth, and it's really having their money work for them within the stock market. And so I've kind of tried to translate that over to my friends. It's like, hey man, because something I always hear is with the older, because I've worked with a lot of older people, and they're like, start your retirement fund. Do you have a retirement fund? Start now. All I hear is, I wish I would have started. How old are you?
Exactly. That's Kirby Newport would say that.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, how old? You guys, if you guys start now, you'll be a millionaire by 40, and he's not wrong.
Dude,
no. Now since we're talking about how what problems we're going through, or we're pretty much playing catch up, as a whole community. We're kind of playing all right, well, we're trying to find new ways to make more money. We're trying to find financial ways to catch up to the middle class or the higher class, So we talked about what kind of problems like the minority people really have, and you were talking about how richer people have different problems than the minority people. So what kind of problems do the rich people have? Or, like you said that the problems.
Yeah,
Or I might be interpreting it wrong.
I think like there's, I think I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a social class division in problems. I would just say that the reality is that as lower middle class, we have different things to worry about. We have to worry about maybe not missing a paycheck because you won't be able to cover this bill or that bill. There's just different type of stress.
Yeah.
Once you climb up the ladder, then you start seeing different things come at you. But once you got that level of wealth, 60 million, you're not worried about whether you're gonna eat or not, or whether you're gonna provide for your family. I think you're more worried about one, this is gonna sound very selfish, but like how to preserve that. Because the government always wants their piece, and then aside from that, I think the good one, like the good, charitable people are just trying to make a difference with that. They're actually trying to be charitable with it and solve some of the world's problems.
Yeah. No, I see that where like people are trying to like maintain their own wealth, and I see that in the Hispanic community that are coming up. Like for example, like Dulio's mom, like she wants to start a restaurant, and that from that restaurant that can lead on to freaking Dulio, and from Dulio, I'm sure he's gonna come up with different ways to keep that restaurant going after her mom. And another example is I kind of hate talking about this, but my father, I would say that he's a real estate person, and he was telling me, it's like, no, like it's not about like how much money I have right now, it's how much money I can retain it and make more.
Right.
And I feel like just him telling me that is where I got my inspiration. Like, man, all right, well, what other ways can we make money with? Like, what other ways can our money work for us? Like, without us moving a finger. And like, I feel like that's where this inspiration of starting this podcast came into play. Like, all right, well, in order to escalate through this ladder, become like higher in this ladder, I feel like I need to connect with people that know more information than what I know, or like so like I feel like I just lost track.
No,
of
you
where
gotta like exchanging information, and then because look, like how you gain an advantage also is through the exchange of information. So you're right, man. That's exactly it. Your dad's smart though. He's on it for whatever reason. Like the recipe that most of the time I see, because my dad did it too. At least he tried to go on that track. Is most of the recipe is like buy a house, rent it out, and earn money that way.
The thing that I like about my dad is my dad wasn't at first. He wasn't really about the money. My dad was more so about his community, like the people that can't buy houses because they're not legal here. Yeah. The people that come into the United States for the right reason because they want a better life for the children, for themselves. And so my dad was like, the money's just a extra plus that I get from the houses. But in reality, I'm housing people that need houses because they don't have, the resources. They don't have the name for them to put their house under their name. So like what my dad does is rent out the houses. Not really cheap, but not too high. Like he meets the people right in the middle. And like I feel like with him doing that, like that's where all his wealth is coming from a good heart. And
that's a good point, man. I mean, we so my dad helps me run like a couple of units in Fulton. And kind of the same thing. We get like beginning of every year, you get just a lot of knocks on the door saying, we don't really have papers. Like, do you know anyone that would like rent to us without us having to, provide the verification like that? And so there are mouths that need to be fed like that.
Also, you said that you like giving out free information to people that don't know like much about financial. And Something that got my eye opening wider than what it is now. Something what Dulio said is, how can we create jobs for third world country? Because in third world country, like, they ain't getting paid shit, bro. Like, they're not getting paid enough for what they're doing. And something that Dulio was talking about is, how can we create jobs in third world country in order for them to progress as a
So where my thought process behind that was, as I'm growing older, as I'm becoming more financially fluent, I want to find different ways to not only help myself but help my family, because over 60% of my family is still in Guatemala, you know. Yeah. And so I can help them by, sending money over there, or help them by, which is probably the most popular way to help, family members, just send money. But I was thinking, I was like, there's got to be a way for me to invest some money into building some sort of business
/ company type of thing
in those countries, in any country, and sort of creating jobs. Yeah. You know how all these bigger companies do it, like Apple and stuff. They outsource all their parts and everything, that like China and stuff for cheaper labor dollars. But it's not even about that. But it's like, how can I help out my family in creating jobs that already pay better than what they already do, which in turn, but it's like a very difficult equation, because then you got to transport it over here, you got to deal with
what if you don't have to, what if the solution isn't immediately, like, what comes to mind too is, and this is something I've been digging into, but like, all right, let's just face it, man. It was a tragedy what happened last year with the coronavirus and in the pandemic, but there's also been a couple of good things that came out of that. And mostly is like, there's this work from home idea, right? Like, companies are allowing employees to not come back to the office ever. But then on top of that, you have the blockchain technology that's really starting to catch wind, and there's companies so the opportunity to work on the blockchain, what do you need? You need a computer and the ability to write code. So honestly, I don't know, like, how comfortable they would be in picking up a coding language like Python. Teach them Python. They can code anywhere in the world, and a coding job like that would pay $150,000 easily. That instantly propels them to the upper class over there. You rather than investing over there and trying to navigate the logistics of taking goods down there, because I don't think investments down there go as far. Like, I was looking at real estate with my dad the other day, and it's like, an apartment costs like $120,000 over there. I'm like, all right, well, how much can I make in rent? And he's like, about like, $500. I'm like, that doesn't even cover the mortgage. Like,
so how much is are you talking about houses in the third world country? Like, like, how much
worth it? That's what I'm saying.
So, like, how much is for $500 over there in the third world country? How much is that in here in the U.S.?
I mean, it's U.S. dollars in El Salvador too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like
yeah.
They have an interesting history, but yeah, I mean, it's $500.
That's right.
So that's what I'm telling you. It's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So to your point, like, kudos to you, man, for thinking about that. I mean, that's definitely where our minds should be going. That's immediately what comes to mind. Like, even if you have younger cousins over there that can still capture that language, man, there's courses on Course Hero that they can just log into and learn.
You're very right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And it's just a thought that came to mind recently as I'm getting older, as I'm learning more, and as I want to help more. It's like, how do I give back? So my mom gives back. Like, our parents give back immensely. Without even thinking twice. And so it's like, how do I get to a point where I can give back? And so that's just one of the thought processes I've gone through. But I want to touch this topic of kind of money making, or our money working for us. So in my head, would you say, would you agree, or would you kind of disagree? Like, retirement funds, the stock market is almost the simplest it can be the simplest way for your money to make more money for your money to work for you. With index funds, with mutual funds, is just leaving it there. On average, I think what is like 7-8% the stock market grows on average a year. This past year's been a little different, but 8 to 7%. Just feed your retirement fund. Really have it grow, and then like Dave Ramsey was right. In personal finance, high school. It's like compound interest is real. And time's your friend. Would you agree with that? Would that kind of be, because there's different avenues I guess you could go. You could start a business, and then have your money invest in different kind of ventures and have your money work for you that way. But in my kind of thought process right now, as I have like a 9-to-5 job, it's like the stock market right now is really the easiest way for my money to work for me. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, like it's probably the best. Okay, let's address like the first part of that. It's the time proven strategy. You got years of research that shows that this you follow this path. This is the path for all Americans if you want to be a millionaire. Yeah, I mean, like you calculate. Like I was looking at my thing the other day. It's like what like. If you get to whatever 30 years old, and you got like $30,000-$40,000, and you continue contributing that in your 401k, you're gonna retire a millionaire. It's just gonna happen. And that's a lot of money depending on where you are.
Yeah.
So it's a time proven strategy. I would say it's still risky, but it's probably the least risky. And then you have a couple of opportunities that revolve around that, which involve taking more risk, and it's all about how much risk you're willing to take. If you think about it that way.
I saw this one thing that said, don't worry about the right strategies. Just focus on building your portfolio. Yeah. What would you agree on that, or would you disagree on that?
Yeah, I mean, because if you're indexing, you're capturing like all the strategies. And so you're reducing your risk as much as possible, because if something underperforms one year, then you'll capture whatever is outperforming. Like Dooley was saying, like this past year, equities they've been kicking ass, especially since March. It's hard to beat anything else. I think you should always look at things like in comparison to one thing or another, right? Like I was out looking for rental properties this year, but housing prices have taken off.
Yeah.
So if you calculate how much money you can make on it in a year, and it's below 8 to 9%, because that's what the stock market's giving you, then you're not going to do it. You might as well just put your money in the stock market. So if you start looking at things relative to another, I would say like what's been fascinating to me, and I've been spending less time like trying to research individual equities, more just trying to research blockchain. And the different blockchains and the types of applications that are going to run on the blockchain. Because, man, when I say, have you guys explored the blockchains yet, or Web3? No. So there's Web2. There's Web2, which is what we know, which is like Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff that we use now. But then there's Web3, which is basically that, but on the blockchain. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
So, what's a blockchain for people that don't know? Like, for example, like myself. What exactly is blockchain?
It's a decentralized ledger. It's like a decentralized. What I mean by decentralized, it's like when you go to a bank, that's a central location, and all the decisions are made at the bank. But when you're on the blockchain, all the decisions are made with thousands of computers around the world. Okay. So not one person controls one decision.
Okay. Yeah.
No, so I've been trying to look into cryptocurrencies and investing in crypto and everything. I've been quite a bit. I've been slow, frankly, in doing my research. But so would you touch a little bit more on W3? Would you kind of explain?
Yeah, Web3 is basically Web2, but it's all going to be running on the blockchain, and so that means it's all going to be interconnected. And so if you use an app like Twitter, it's not ran by Jack Dorsey. It's ran by thousands of computers around the world. So the decision making comes down to the community members and the people that are on the internet. And that's why Web3 is going to be so powerful, because everything that is controlled by us, by the users. It's got like this feedback loop between the users and the builders, you know, and the verifiers of all this information, because that's what miners are. They're just the verifiers. You know? So you have this feedback loop between all three people or sources that's just constantly feeding off each other. Yeah. So Twitter becomes like just that much more sticky if you think about it, because you have a vested interest in it. I think if you're using Twitter, like a Twitter on Web3, you're going to be given a token, and that token is basically like a voting right. And that gives you a say on what the app does. Yeah. If you want to add stories to Twitter, then they'll add stories. Yeah. That's the cool thing about Web3, and it's all going to feed into each other. And if you look up MetaMask, which is the Web3 Explorer, that's how you connect your iPhone to Web3, you'll start to see that it's a damn Google search. You literally go in there, you type in whatever you want to type in, and the search engine is DuckDuckGo, and it looks just like Google. And you can access whatever site you want on there, and it's fascinating, because the thing about the decentralized part of a blockchain is you enter your credentials once, and that's it. It's on the blockchain. So all the apps, what they do is like they'll talk to the miner and they'll say, "Hey, is this really Luis Reyes?" All right, cool. So then that's your passport to go everywhere. You don't have to create a new account.
So. Do you have something?
It all, so I'm you kind of rattling my brain a little bit, because I'm trying to wrap my head around this, because can Twitter go over to this Web3 blockchain like essentially database, really? Or can applications be built on top on this, I guess, framework that is Web3?
Yeah, you got, I think, I'm thinking about like the applications that I use on it. Right now, the applications that I use are just like exchanges where you can go exchange one cryptocurrency for another. And then there's also, there's another application that it's starting to make index funds of cryptocurrencies. So I went in on that.
Oh, really?
It's fascinating, man. You guys got to check it out. Once you check it out, you're gonna see, because that's what I think is like you should invest in what you use. You know, if you use Twitter every day, then invest in that.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to use Web3, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm definitely gonna buy some Ethereum, because that's the blockchain that hosts this right now. And you also have Cardano and Solana, and so you have all these blockchains that are coming out that are basically saying, hey, use ours. But if you think about it right now, I mean, you got plenty of apps out there, and then you have plenty of users. But the cool thing about blockchain, I think, is like it's going to give people access to things that don't have access to it now. All you need a computer, and you have access to a financial institution. Think about it, like on the blockchain, I mentioned like going to a bank. You know, some countries don't have banks. Like, let's just think our freaking ancestors. You know, like in Honduras, there are villages that are made of dirt. You know? Yeah. So if they even have a computer, they can log into the blockchain. They can send money and receive money from anywhere around the world.
And with a blockchain, you can trace that, right? It's a public ledger, like you said, and so you can trace the wallets. But I guess you can't really see whose it belongs to, but you can trace where that money goes. You can trace where the transactions go. The transactions are saved there, and they're publicly available to view.
So everything's verified by like thousands of computers, so that's why it's hard to commit fraud, you know, because the miners are incentivized to basically, like, if they commit fraud like that, it's in one blockchain, they'll lose money. Is basically what happens. They get a slap on the wrist and they lose some of their money.
So do you believe that cryptocurrency is the next
currency of I guess universal currency?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. That's hard. I think like it's gonna be more than a currency. I think it's gonna be like a store of value, because like it's inflation. It's a deflationary currency, so that means like it's increasing in value while the prices of goods in the real world are staying. Yeah. So your money buys more in cryptocurrency. So if you bought one ether at the beginning of the year, it was 1,000. Now it's at 4,000. Your money's just 4 times the value just for sitting there.
Well, there's also there's deflationary cryptocurrencies, and there's inflationary cryptocurrency. For example, Doge, the big one right now. Doge, you know, there's so so I know with like Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's a certain number of coins that can be mined. So that's what kind of what you're saying is deflationary. So it's like we used to run on the gold standard. You know, we had an idea of how much gold was. So, but we have an idea of how much Bitcoin or Ethereum can be mined, and so based like supply and demand. You know, as we mine the currencies and they become less and less, the prices of it rise. You know, the price, like that's what we've been seeing. You know, the prices rise and stuff. So it's interesting because it's still young. I mean, it's still relatively young, and it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes and how different institutions start implementing it. Because recently, because institutions investing in Bitcoin, that's what that rise in the price has been recently. Is all these big institutions, you know, actually like, hey, like this is actually a real thing, you know, like we start looking into it, so they're putting money into it. So it's going to be really interesting how it develops and where it's going to be here in the next couple of years, you know. But I think it's still young. I think it's relatively young. I think right now it's running like almost as a hype. But and it takes so much. I was reading up an article. It takes so much energy in natural resources to mine these, to run all these computers that are actually currently mining. I think it was like it was using like the same amount of energy like a small country would use, you know, to mine all this. So like the way we're going with natural resources and everything, you know, is like we need to find like a alternative source of energy, you know. So it's just gonna be interesting to see where this all goes and where.
Yeah, no, man. And usually, like, we're still in the 1% of people that are even thinking about this. You know? Yeah. You just said, like, I saw a tweet the other day that was like, Bitcoin is like the cryptocurrency for boomers at this point. Like, you know, and I thought that was hilarious because it just shows how quickly this is all moving. But you know, check out that MetaMask. You were asking for like opportunities earlier. I think this is a big one, man. I think this is gonna change a lot of things for us.
Looks like we got some research to do, man. But I want to touch back on let's come kind of bring it back to what are some steps that everybody can take to kind of build wealth? You know, start building wealth, start kind of preparing our next generations, our kids. You know, just to set a better future for them. You know, what are some first steps anybody like me, I don't know, Joe down the street can start doing?
Or like myself.
I mean, I would just say like start looking at stocks and holding them and getting like a frame of reference for what they are and what they can do for you. You know, like you guys know Henry Oakslaw?
Yeah. I know.
We were just talking about him like last podcast.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting into stocks currently, and he was eyeing Tesla the other day, and we started going through, you know, Tesla's earnings and how they make money, and so just getting through the idea of thinking like that in a business sense, like, you know, if you can start developing that business sense, that idea, you don't even have to start investing. You don't even have to invest in stocks. You can invest in other things. But if you can start understanding how something makes money and whether it's going to make you money and what the opportunities are for it to make you money, then I think you start to get in a good spot because you can start looking at stocks, real estate, cryptocurrencies, whatever it is, but you already have a good frame of reference for it, you know? And then obviously you got the traditional advices saying, hey, throw it in the QQQ or this index.
The SPY.
Buy into something like that every paycheck. That's the time proven strategy, you know? That's, you know, you're not gonna go broke or you're not gonna not retire if you do that. It's just that I think generations think differently, you know. Millennials, we've had, you know, we've been taught that this is the way to do it, and so we've been like, you know, running through brick walls trying to do it. You know, we've been following these rules, and then that's how we do it. And then you have Gen Z that's coming along and saying, fuck that takes way too long to do. I want to be a millionaire now. And so you got Gen Z that's like coming in and either if they're not day trading, they're you know doing some shit on TikTok that makes them money like right away. Like I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it's this developer that's went on tour with Katy Perry. So he's a DJ developer, came back, built some software, and now he's like advising at some huge hedge fund, which hedge funds, they make a lot of money, right? And they manage a lot of money. But the guy was like, one thing that I've noticed is I'm back in LA and I'm meeting all these TikTok stars that have their mansions. And I asked them, hey, like, you have all this money right now. What's your long-term goal? And they look at him and they're like, goal? I just want to be rich.
Yeah.
You know, so that's everyone's goal. And I think it's cool to look at that and look at what you want and focus in on something that just drives you and fascinates you, and research it as much as possible, because if you become good at it or the best at it, then you're gonna make some money somehow.
Since you brought up TikTok, I think TikTok is a good social media if you use it to your advantage, because my girlfriend, she uses TikTok a lot, and
TikTok addict.
Dude, it might be, but there's one time where I came back from work, I was like tired as heck. I just laid down, and she was on her newsfeed, I think, and her newsfeed just kept feeding her like investments, real estate, and like I was listening to it. There's people that's giving out free information through TikTok. They're like, hey, like you should invest in this right now, blah 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 blah. It's gonna like blow up. And I did my research on it, and sure enough, like that specific thing blew up. Like it made people quite a bit of money.
Right.
And I think you can use social media to your advantage, since you were talking about TikTok, how a lot of people use TikTok. Like if you can use it to your advantage, dude, use it to your advantage.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of as TikTok and using it to your advantage, so for forbidden fruit. So I don't follow your accounts. I'm about to after this, but tell me some of the things you're doing to kind of.
You don't follow the accounts, bro.
I'm about to, bro. That's what I had to put that in there. I'm about to. No, but tell me some of the things you're posting on there.
I don't think he wants to talk to you about it no more.
No, I'm interested.
Look, like I said, man, we're experimenting so far. It's like I would say it's a big ass experiment, and Nick and I are just figuring out what works. And I think we're gonna revamp. We're not gonna revamp. But we're gonna reapproach how we put information out there, because we've been doing it through posts, and then we'll make like these little TikTok videos like on a Sunday or something that just lighten the mood, because no one wants to be consuming finance 24/7. Some people are fascinated by it, others are like, all right, man, take a chill pill. And then, so I think we're gonna go to like video form solely, in 1-2 minute videos giving updates on just current events that's going on, and then also just some quick strategies on maybe like a tip of the week or something. Just something that's easily digestible, because man, our posts, like part of it is my doing, but like I just want to get into the weeds and stuff, because that's it's hard to do on Instagram.
Weeds and stuff.
Yeah, like get into like the nitty gritty of how the blockchain works. Like that's probably too much detail for an Instagram post.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just toying around with it. I think we've had a lot. We've had a lot of feedback from friends that just the stock market tips are helpful. Some people. The thing is, like, everyone has like a different base knowledge, and so just trying to put something out there that applies to everyone is hard.
No, that is hard. That is hard.
I mean, like, what do you guys think with your podcast? Like, is it for everyone? Are you trying to nail down one audience, or?
So that's a really good question, actually, because I don't know if we have a target. Our target audience, or whoever it helps, whoever tunes in. If I think like I mentioned before, me and Luis have this eye for business, and we want to have our hand in trying to run a business, and so I think eventually we want to use this podcast to learn about business, and for your case, you being here, learn about finance and learn about investing, and kind of learn, provide you giving us all this feedback and all this information is really helping us. So I don't know that we have a target market right now or anything. I just think this is kind of, like you said, a fun experiment.
It's
just,
just,
something we enjoy doing, and then if it helps people out, that's even better. I mean, that's ultimately that's what we want, is to help people.
And the thing that I really like about this podcast is that everybody's winning. Everybody's winning. Like the people that are viewing this video, like they're getting free information. We're winning because we're actually talking to the person that comes in, and the person that comes in might have a business, a coffee shop. We're shouting out their businesses, and maybe they can get more views, more people to contact. So everybody's winning through this podcast, and that's the one thing that I like. That there's not one single person that's going to be left out short from. And I mean, like I said, like we're for our people, and like we want to give information like to our people, so like that we can all grow together. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's where we're at. We don't really have a goal, which we probably should. But
we're just having fun right now, man. We're talking to people.
And that's it. Like, part of this whole thing is just having fun and reconnecting with people too, man.
Yeah. No, really.
It's hard to do.
No, really, because I think, and to be honest, it's 100% fact. I would have never connected with you if it weren't for this, Probably, ever, I probably would have ever crossed paths with you, Yeah. So it's an awesome experience, and I loved it. I've been loving it so far, and I'm grateful for Luis to bring this up, man. I'm grateful for everything, man. And we're a little bit over time, but do you have anything else you want to touch on?
Man, I just can't wait till I come back and, you guys got Elon Musk in here. This would be a great ass time.
If God permits.
Yeah, you guys are doing good shit here, so.
Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge with us, man. I want to have you on and really kind of focus in on more of the stock market side, because I like getting into the weeds as well, and really getting down deep, and so I really want to have you back on and really dive deep into that. Yeah. But
you guys come to Chicago, we do something up there too. Bring this equipment, we'll do it.
Hey, man.
Let us know when.
We're there, man. We're there.
Right.
You already said it. I'm down. We're gonna set a date right after this. We're doing it.
Bye, boys. If you guys don't.
No, we're doing it.
So usually, whenever we get done, or through the very end of the podcast, we usually ask our guest that comes in, is there like something that you want to tell the viewers?
Any like advice and something you've learned, something that someone has said to you that's really stuck with you?
Yeah, let me think, man.
Yeah, I know it's putting you on the spot.
Something that someone said to me that's really stuck with me.
Yeah, or any advice that you want to give, anything that you've learned over your experience.
I mean, for example, like something that stuck with me is what you told me. It was like, man, like, yeah, you're gonna be in debt in college, but just think about it as an investment towards yourself. Like that really was like, damn, like, all right, like this guy thinks differently. Yeah. He's not like everybody else,
Yeah, we spend a lot of time like trying to figure out what that passion is for us, I think, And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes you think about it too much, and sometimes you even question whether you want to even go to college, I would say. But I would just say, like, just, you figure it out. Once you start thinking about what really makes you tick, and for some of us it's different because we spend a lot of time playing sports, and that's really what makes us tick, but then sports ends, and what do we have to do after that? Yeah. So, just spend some time observing yourself. What is it that makes you tick? What do you spend your time doing? And whatever it is, just dive deeper into it until you can become an expert. Once you become an expert, you can make money off of it somehow. That's my final piece. Awesome. Last piece is, don't forget to have fun while you're doing it too, man. Because life's short. And we gotta make the most of it too. So.
Awesome, thanks, dude. I appreciate you coming on. Don't forget to follow Forbidden Fruit. So what was the at?
Oh yeah, at FRBDNFRT. All right.
And you can follow that on there.
Smash that follow button, all right?
And you can follow that on what social media?
Follow it on Instagram. Go on TikTok too. I mean, We'll be putting some more stuff out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For all
There
you
you go.
TikTok addicts.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be
And
adding
it's
my
gonna be
girlfriend.
scrolling through and he's gonna see fucking, who the fuck is that annoying voice? On me and Nick.
Man. But all right, awesome. I appreciate you coming, and we'll have you on shortly again, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure, guys.
All right.
Let's do it.
Goodbye, everybody.